then go to the intro. Hello and welcome to the Build with Baer workshop. My name is Pat Baer. I'm here to build a model kit and hang out with you. I'm throwing the Bear Cave Lego, the site, the emote in the chat. If you're currently a subscriber, you can throw those emotes back at me. Thank you, Harold, for hosting the stream. I hope you're all doing well out there. You may notice that this doesn't look like it looked on Thursday or on Monday. Hi, Epic Open World. Happy to have you here, especially at the beginning of a stream. That's rad. My green screen stuff's all messed up. Now, it's not my green screen. Crazy Like Fox is here. Hello. Harold's here, of course. Hello. It's my settings are not right, and I don't know why. Last Brick is here. We already got a stellar crew of folks. Ig is here. Welcome, welcome. Igniama. I never say your full name. Yeah, so I've been playing around trying to get things back to where they were. I don't know what's going on. So some things did change. A little bit of my lighting changed, and obviously that's a huge problem. There was an update to the software for my webcams, and that threw everything off. Also, it's a small little thing, but there is sunlight comes in from the window that's near me more than because we're in the summer, we're getting longer days. So that does affect things, but it shouldn't affect things by now. So I think that when I'm in the overhead shot, this is better. So we're probably just gonna live in this a little bit more. Really, it's just when I get bigger, it looks weirder. But I think this looks okay. Like we're still gonna see. We're still seeing like trails. And I don't know how to. I mean, I do know how to fix that. The honest fix is that I need to have a light on the floor behind me, and I don't really have enough room for that. Hi, Jim. Welcome, welcome. Happy to have you here. As always, folks, thanks for being here. Saturdays sometimes are a little lighter than normal, so I'm happy to have folks here in chat, especially already as we go. So, yeah, like I said, green screen stuff, like, look, could we just do, like, this? We could just do this and just have me there, but then why do I even have a green screen? Why are we doing green screen fun if I'm not using the green screen? I might as well not do that. So we'll keep it for now. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. I'm gonna retweet that we're live and building, and I'm happy you're all here, because building has begun. And I really want to talk to Pope about the Eric Pope, friend of the stream, friend for life. Eric Pope tweeted something that I was like, "Whoa, oh no!" Something about a former head of an improv theater being what you would expect. Being overall a weirdo. Disgraced former head of an improv theater is, it's not code, but it might as well be code for something. If you were like, oh, who's that? And then I replied, well, that person used to run an improv theater until blah, blah, blah. You'd be like, oh, okay. Like, yeah. Like you can have a pretty good idea what that's going to be. Anyway, hi. We're working on the Zigok. It's not the Zigok, it's the Zagok. We're working on the Zagok. It's a real grade. I don't love real grades. I like real grades. I should say that obviously, not obviously, but so you know, one of my favorite kits I've ever built in my life is the Sazabi real grade, and it is a fantastic real grade. So I have built a good real grade in the past. I built a couple that I don't dislike. I just generally don't enjoy real grades. I find real grades to be kind of frustrating. I will say it's kind of neat because master grades, generally, you're going to start with the chest, then you're going to do the head, then you do the arms, the legs, the waist, and the backpack. We started with the feet, and now we're doing the right leg. And that's just weird. It's odd. It's an odd thing compared to other kits out there. It is strange to start from the bottom and rise up. That's a little thing that I noticed and felt like I should mention. Um, uh, Somebody bought something off my wish list. We'll talk about that later. Obviously, when we get to the pause for the cause portion of the stream. But somebody bought something off my wish list that I think y'all are going to be pretty excited about in the future. I'm going to build. Um, there are only so many Gundam shows that I haven't built a kit for, and we are going to cross another one off the list of shows that I will have bought a kit for, because I'm gonna build a Turn A Gundam, and our mustache friend will arrive someday. Who knows when we're gonna get it because the world, but that's coming, and that's exciting. Um, that is an odd thing to be like looking forward to, but in this in this day and age, I'm excited to look forward to things generally. So, if the thing that I'm looking forward to right now is building a weird looking Gundam, then I'm going to take that. I'm going to be okay with that in the moment. Because it is obviously, um, it is a rough time for a lot of people. It has been a rough year. It has been a rough week, a rough month, a rough several months. It's been a rough time for a lot of people for a lot of varying reasons and varying degrees. And all I can do is, right now anyway, in the moment, is try to have a fun time if we can, a fun stream if we can. Uh, like we don't shy away from feelings and being and feeling our feelings and talking about what we want to talk about and being supportive. This community is excited about model kits and anime and each other's things and video games and all kinds of entertainment. But we're also humans living on Earth. And yeah, the world sucks. I feel more sad than I have in my life. But hey, PS5 games being shown next week. Epic Open World, yeah. And like, look, is there a cynical part of me that is like, cool. So we're all just gonna be excited about shit's wild right now. Yes, Lord Crashington. Also, hi, Lord Crashington. Um, like I guess we're all just gonna be excited about Last of Us and not think about uh unsafe and unfair working conditions at Naughty Dog, because and like I'm not here to tell people not to be excited about things or not to look forward to things. Hell, like one of the things that I had been looking forward to the most as like, well, this sucks, but in 2 days or in 5 days or in whatever, like I get it. There are things I'm excited about and looking forward to that like have come, and there are more things on the way. For me, it was one of the things was Dorohedoro. I've watched almost all of Dorohedoro. That show kicks fucking ass and is violent and brutal and sometimes very tough to watch, but also silly and fun and weird. And it is, at least, it is a post apocalyptic world, but because of magic. Its post apocalypse comes because magicians from another dimension have basically decided that where they dump all their bullshit is us, and also do their magic experiments and various other things. So at least it is like a fantastical and also gritty and weird and just random, sometimes not super linear, very strange show. I am uh, enamored with it. We'll talk more in the second hour about Dorohedoro, and I'll probably wrap it up for Monday. I don't love. Again, I'm sorry, folks, that my green screen stuff is not where I would like it, and that is frustrating me. But at least I sound okay, right? That's important. Finally finished the last season of Castlevania Netflix. So I think I'd rather be living in a vampire problem right now. I mean, epic open world, like that ain't a great, like that ain't great. If you were like, I'm looking for escapism, Castlevania's a rough one. And I should point out that I'm currently not really watching escapism anime outside of the anime that I watched that was already escapism. I'm not like seeking out ones that I haven't seen before. I'm falling back on like the chillest anime in the world, Flying Witch, a show that features ghosts and a whale, an ancient flying whale that a civilization used to live on. And what else is in fucking the weirdness of that show? Oh yeah, the Harbinger of Spring. The Harbinger was very nice. Uh, in general. But that show has all that, but is also just the chillest, coolest anime. Sometimes people talk about slice of life, and they um, equate slice of life with harbingers are serious businesses. Yeah, but Blue, the harbinger. Here's my biggest complaint about Flying Witch. That harbinger is in the opening animation. He's in the opening credit song. Um, and only shows up in one fucking episode, and that sucks. I want more of that dude. That dude seemed cool as hell, and he only shows up for one episode, but he's in like the song, and I just always found that very annoying because I was like, what about that dude? Where's that dude? At least with vampires, I know I only have to deal with them at night. Yeah, Epic Open World, you are not wrong. Um, uh, One of the things when we talk about uh, mythological issues is not always, but often when we are talking about these kinds of things, um, we are we have dealt with generally, not always, obviously, but in a lot of even dystopian futures, uh, an extra threat brings people together. Obviously, clearly, that's not always the case, and also, um, media, particularly in the 70s and beyond, but I would say the 70s is a good jumping off point for that. Uh, Really got it up their butt that humans are the real nightmare. Uh, which yeah, I mean yeah, but that has definitely been like a thing. As soon as enough people had made zombie movies, they were like, well, the zombies aren't the real problem. And they're like, yeah, okay, and maybe that's been overdone, but I don't know. Yeah, but I've had my comfort shows lately that I've been watching, and that has been nice. Just try to deal with other things. I have not been particularly feeling too great. I don't quite know what it is. It could be something as simple as uh, um, allergies right now, or it could be something else. But yeah, it is. I've had Yeah, I've had some health concerns as of late. I don't think it's anything for folks to be worried about, but it is. I am a little concerned at the moment, and hopefully things will be all right. We'll see how I feel in a couple days, and then I will make a decision about what I'm going to do at that point. Um, uh, because I'm attempting to, unless something is very is seriously wrong, I'm attempting to avoid, you know, leaving the house. So we'll see. Crazy Like Fox says, as scary and as sad as it seems, I'm always happy to see people stand up for one another. Just wish things didn't have to go so hard for these changes. Exactly. Yeah. Um, I mean that's what it is. You're not going to see. Uh, You're not going to see on this stream anyway cries about uh, property damage or anything of that nature. I do not care. Um, I care about people's safety, certainly. I care about people's well-being, assuredly. I worry for my friends who and strangers who are out there doing that work, that are putting themselves at risk. Uh, yeah, but like I don't care that LA County, who reopened their restaurants this weekend, are dealing with uh, protesters getting in the way of that. Like, sorry, I don't give a shit about that. I do not care that LA County restaurants, who should not be opening anyway, are having issues today. That are going to be a curfew is being imposed, and they can't be open as late as they want it to be. It's like, yeah, I don't. I'm not mad about that. Um, but yeah, it is. It's trying times. It's scary times, and I am. I don't. My goal right now is to amplify other voices, and try to do my best to do that, and to listen is a lot more than I even have been in the past, and then, as always, a mission statement of mine that I will continue to do, and is to uh, continue to have a place for people to, just relax. And LA County shut down COVID-19 testing centers because they will not stand for police cars being burned. Yeah, that's some real fucking dumb rhetoric coming out about that. Just some real short-sighted nonsense of being like just punishment based, like, oh, you're gonna disrespect us. Well, sorry, now you can't go to get your testing. Other people who were not involved in this. Spread the word, I guess. We're out here being cartoonishly evil. But yeah, it's look, I'm not an expert in a lot. I'm not an expert in anything. I'll say that. But I do encourage for folks to get a handle on some things, to read things, to listen actively. Hello, Mr. Bob. Happy to have you here, my friend. What is going on here? Welcome, welcome. So I might have, maybe I pulled the wrong pieces. No, this. Sorry, I may have been distracted and pulled the wrong pieces out of here. So I'm going to go and grab this and see what I might need. So let's do. Okay, yeah. I grabbed two C5s. Instead of a C6 and a C5, I grabbed two C5s. So that is an error. I bought gas station fireworks, says Mr. Bob. Okay. Dude wants his rug is here, throwing the emotes in. Appreciate that. Bald Ridge is here. Pat, hey, howdy, Pat. Catching the stream for the first time in a while. Well, I'm glad you're here, Bald Ridge. Welcome. We're working on the Zagok real grade. I have not done a real grade in a while. They are, as always, sometimes just weird. I would say once you get past the skeleton parts, because there are always like twists and turns with the skeleton pieces that I'm always like, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be doing here. It's always a little weird. This is a good real grade. I mean, I'm liking the look of it. It's just, it's been throwing some curveballs at me. I'm having some issues here. This is a hot kit. Yeah. Look, I'll say this. I'd rather get gas station fireworks than almost anything else from a gas station that is not just like, a bag of chips or whatevs. Like, like sushi or sandwiches. Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. Or I don't know, it's a bunch of stuff. Outside of like if there's a Wawa or Cumberland Farms or some sort of other thing attached to a gas station, like I got no problems with that. But if we're talking like the oh we're getting sushi from the gas station, like I'll pass. You enjoy it. It's a sheet, so it's kind of safe. Okay. She's good. Is this the one of the RG that has English instructions? No, Mr. Bob. This is a 2014, I want to say. Yeah, this is 2014. This is still kind of early in the real grade process, and it is not more of a universal one, which is okay. It's just I would I do like guidance that makes a little more sense. A lot of this is just like, well, I think I got this right. We'll see. We'll see if I did. Or like, this piece looks like it should be perfect. It's not, and I don't know why. Find out later. Uh, when I built this watching the Mario Sunshine streams from Giant Funky Beast. Nice. The local small time gas station got sushi from nearby Japanese restaurant, so it's actually okay, but it still feels wrong. See, Bald Rich, that's like, yeah, that's one of those things where you're like, okay, I mean, we're still in a gas station. So, but, like, that seems better than wherever, not knowing where it comes from, which is always a nightmare thing. Yeah, I don't know how this piece is supposed to connect, and it's bothering me. When I was road tripping, we found a vending machine that dispensed live fishing bait at a gas station. See, that sounds fine. You may be running a risk on how live it is. It might not be as live as you would like it to be, but that still seems better than other options, other things to get at a gas station. Y'all, I just don't know what I'm doing here. This is C5. Alright, let's try this side first. See if I can get this where it needs to be. Okay, I got one piece on, so the other one should fit in better. Fish bait tastes fine and keeps well. Uh, oh, yeah. I think I trust gas station sushi more than liquor store sushi. Oh, no. Yeah, Lashbrook, like, look, if you don't respect yourself enough not to eat sushi you got at a liquor store, know that I respect you and love you enough that I don't want you to do that. That's a blanket statement to everyone watching right now. If I know you in real life, if I never met you before, if I'll never meet you in this world, just so you know, I respect you and care about you. And don't buy sushi from a liquor store. Please. Uh, hey, Pat, did you bend? Are you saying legs, Mr. Bob? I think. I don't know. I'm not sure what you're saying right now. I don't know what you're asking, Mr. Bob, so feel free to clarify. Those older reboots need the joints to be worked. Yes. Yes, Mr. Bob, I did move that around. Hot take, sushi is gross. Hey, Epic Home World, here's the thing. Do I love sushi? No. Is sushi one of the things that I literally have not craved at all? Like I've had cravings for lots of different things over the past weeks of not having access to things that I like. Has sushi ever been one of those things? No. But like I've had really good sushi before. I've had unbelievably incredible, like, I would not say life-changing, but like eye-opening. I've had eye-opening sushi before. I've had sushi where I was like, "Oh, okay. This is what's possible." But I still don't like want it. But at the same time, oh boy, don't get that bad sushi though. Yeah, no, Mr. Bob, I knew that I had to like move things around. Like that's one of the reasons why this piece wasn't going on right is because like I had to slightly adjust one of the things, and it's fine now. I don't do real grades that often, um, mainly because they are hard to do on a stream like this. I I gotta you know what I need to do? I need to stop looking at myself on screen. Because when I look at the your feed, it doesn't look as bad as it looks on my monitor. So I just have to not be annoyed by these things, and then I will spend some time on Monday fiddling around with it. I used to work near a place that did $60 sushi meals, but I never had the nerve or coin for it. Yeah, I mean, also, hey, there's another thing, right? Sometimes it's like you need, you don't always, but you need a guiding hand, right? Like, uh, when I went out to eat with Steve Lynn, friend of Giant Bomb, friend of mine, good dude. Steve Lynn took me out when I was in San Francisco years ago. This was like almost 10 years ago. I was out in San Francisco, and he invited me out, and he took me to a fantastic place that was literally in a mall. It was like an upscale restaurant, but it was in a shopping plaza. So it was like, so I would never have found it. I would have never like known it was there, and I'm so glad that he invited me uh, to dine with him because otherwise it was just like an experience I wasn't gonna get. Uh, and so sometimes you need that guide, right? Like I can definitely be that for people about certain things. Like if someone is in New York and in the before times was like, hey, I want to eat the best pizza, and I could be like, okay, well, here are the best pizzas. Okay, so this is gonna go into this. Here are the best pizzas, and here's how you eat those. Here's how here's things involved. So, do you want the best of the best of the best, or do you want the third best pizza, which is not hard to get? Do you want the second best pizza, which is sometimes not hard to get, or do you want the best pizza, which is going to involve us getting on a ferry? If you want to get on a ferry and you want this to be your day, we can do that. If you want to wait a really long time and watch people who are not famous but are connected in some way cut us in line to get the second best pizza in the city, we can do that. If you want to eat the third best pizza in the city, which is still incredible, uh, then yeah, we can do that. So Epic Open World says, I only want the best pizza. I like ferry rides. Well, great. Then we're going to Staten Island to get the best pizza in New York, and you know what? After that, we'll get ice cream at the docks as we wait for the ferry. As dessert, we'll get ice cream at a great place I know. We'll make a day of it. That's our day, though. We have now dedicated a day to pizza, and I respect that and understand it. I can be your pizza guide. Like, that is a thing that, beyond being good at it, also I'm happy to do. So, like, yeah. Uh, if you are in San Francisco and you happen to have the ear of Chris Kohler, and in the before times, and you have the ear of Chris, and you say, Chris, let's go get curry. Chris knows the best place in San Francisco to get curry. He knows the second best place to get curry. He knows the place to get the best weird curry. He knows the best place to get fast curry. The man knows it. It's a thing he knows. He can hook you up and get it done. Like that is, and he will be happy to do so. And obviously if that's a thing that you have access to. There are people out there that like get it and know it and want to champion it. I could be your pizza baby. I had very good pizza last week. My dad and I got takeout from a Chicago-style place. Does he know the best place to get Tim Curry? No, Harold. First of all, the fact that you got good pizza in Florida. We're literally gonna hit the applause thing. Let's throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe emote in the chat because Harold got good pizza in Florida, and I know that. Look, I know that exists. I know it's possible, Harold. but it still needs to be applauded because I had in uh, in St. Petersburg, Florida, in the early 90s, I had the worst pizza I ever had in my life. I've never had worse pizza than in St. Petersburg, Florida, in the early 90s. So, congratulations. Epic Open World, I would say that Cuban food is fantastic in Florida. Also, there's a lot of southern cuisine that is down there that is really good from people from the south moving there because it is a melting pot. Um, uh, when most of the northerners go down there, they don't bring good food with them, which is a bummer. Uh, but yeah, the Gulf, yeah, seafood. Like Florida has good seafood if you're on the coasts. There's a lot of, not a lot, but there is Florida that is not coastal, and sometimes that is a bummer. But yeah, um, yeah. Um, Food in Florida is the most random quality. It's like you're playing Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, Mr. Bob, exactly. Well, it's also that thing of like, we talk about like if you want in the New England or Mid Atlantic area, you can find good Mexican food, but it's hard to find. And we also, as a culture, don't know what good Mexican food is because that's just not it's just not part of the culture. Um, so like it took a lot. So I mean, while there are examples of it, in the same way that like there is good pizza in Florida, it's just that Floridians born and raised might not know that they're not having good pizza. I'm so sorry. That was a loud sneeze, and I apologize. I also have a mute button, and I didn't use it, and I apologize. Um, I had some really good crab cakes in Florida. They even brought out Old Bay. Nice. There's a sub place in Orlando I can only find if you start me at a specific train yard. Hell yeah, Mr. Bob. I love shit like that. I used to be that about New York as I started to get used to the city, right? Like I'm better now. But when I first moved here, I only knew about things in relation to where I had walked like from Grand Central. I know where this thing is, but I do not know how to get there from here. So we have to go to Grand Central. Like that is I have experienced that. That is a thing that I have done in my life. I'm better at it now uh, but yeah, for a good period of time, that was definitely my experience. Okay, so I put this on wrong. So let's put it on right. Yeah, hell yeah. Doing the left leg will be a lot easier as we are now struggling through the right leg. But yeah, we're working from the ground up, which is as I said, an odd thing. Usually you build the chest and then the head and then the arms and then the legs and then the waist. Maybe you do the waist before the legs, but often that's not the case. So doing this now has been interesting. Alright, so this got to go in here like that. This goes like that. Now this is going to go snap in. Oop, thing popped off. Uh, Florida is very transplanty heavy. Yeah, most of the people I know are originally from somewhere else. Yeah, totally. And that means that, they look, sometimes they bring things with them and they bring traditions with them, but they may not supplant things. My mom and dad uh, go to a place to try to support a guy who apparently is a very nice guy in South Carolina that is from a neighboring town from where I grew up. So they want to support Connecticut transplant. He came down here. Thing is, apparently his pizza, his marinara is bad. It doesn't taste great. So they don't like getting pizza. So sometimes they'll get other things. They'll get like sandwiches or whatever, and they still go because they feel bad. But like, he's bringing the Connecticut style, the Worcester Street, ideal down to Florida, or not down to Florida, down to South Carolina, but he's not good at it. So like, I feel bad for people that are like, oh yeah, I hear about like Worcester Street all the time. I can't wait to try that. And then they get this and they're just like, that was not good. But that's what happens. Sometimes you think you're unfortunately in a position where you're representing more than just yourself. I would feel awful if someone came to like see me and we had like a bad night at a like an pizza at John's or something, and then they were like, "Oh yeah, it's not really everything is oh it was good." And you're like, "No, no, don't do that. Don't be like, oh yeah, like no." What I need you to do is, and I've said this on the stream before, you need to be my good friend Nick's friend he grew up with, or he went to college with, who came up to visit him, and we went and got pizza, and while we were eating it, he stopped for a pause, and then he turned to my friend Nick and said, "Okay, you were right. We have bad pizza in Orlando. I just I didn't okay." Like that's what I want. Like if I don't get that, if I like take you out and you don't walk away thinking that, like then I fucked up. I've been putting this on the wrong side. That's the problem. There's your problem. Why won't this slip on how I need it to? Oh, because I'm doing it wrong. Yep, that makes sense. Yep, that. Oh, weird. When I didn't do it wrong, when I did it the way I was supposed to do, it slipped on no problem and was easy to go on. So weird. It's almost like I was doing it wrong. Okay, and then this piece just doesn't want to stay on right. I think I might go back here. You got to hunt, but there's good transplant food. Most of it is from immigrants coming from other countries and not other states. Yeah, yeah. I mean, like that is the key to a lot of finding like the right food thing that you're looking for. Is you just have to give it time, and then hopefully you'll hit exactly what you're looking for, and you'll get that food you've been craving in the style you want. But you never know. Like guys, hey, here's the thing. I've had bad pizza in New York. I've had bad Chinese food in New York. I've had bad Indian food in New York. I've never had Indian food anywhere but New York. And so when I went to a place that I'd never been to before with a friend, and we got it, and we were like, "What the fuck is this? This sucks." What I didn't know that was like obviously I knew it was possible, but I hadn't experienced bad Indian food before, and I was like, "Oh fuck, this sucks." Uh, yeah, you gotta just hunt and hope, and then when you find a place that kicks ass, you just hope that it doesn't close, and you can keep going to it. All right, so this is gonna go this. Okay. And then this goes in here, and we did it. We built a leg. There's a lot going on in this leg. There's a lot of detail here. Again, I'm sorry that things aren't brighter, uh, but also I wish that pieces weren't coming off. But uh, best Indian food I had was in Arkansas. Yeah, Mr. Bob, sure. That doesn't super surprise me, Like sometimes you just find good food. And if you find good food, congratulations, you found good food. Best Chinese food I ever had was I was in D.C. for 3 months. Yeah, at Built Open World, I've had some really good meals in Washington. I've not been there a lot, but when I've been there, I've had some really good experiences. Some really solid cuisine. Really great tapas in DC. Like some of the best tapas I've ever been to was at a restaurant. I've ever had, I should say, was at a restaurant in DC. Which is maybe not random, but to me felt random. Okay, so we built this. There's a leg. There's a lot going on. Now we got to do the whole thing with the other leg. So let's get the other leg going. And we need B5 here. Got B5 here. Yeah. Gonna just do the outsides here, and then I'm gonna get there. There's an amazing Middle Eastern place in San Diego run by a family from Iraq. More food than you could ever eat, too. Ooh, that sounds real good. That sounds fucking awesome. Uh, there is a Peruvian steak place near me, and that a friend of mine was like, hey, I've lived here 8 years at the time. This was a couple years ago. My friend was like, I've lived here 8 years. I've never been to this Peruvian steakhouse. Do you want to go? And I was like, yes. Um, and we went, and it was great because the waiter was like, have you been to here before? And we said, no. And the guy said, have you been to a Peruvian steakhouse before? And we said, no. And he goes, okay, great. We're non-traditional. So there's going to be stuff on the menu that you would have been like, hey, what? But since you don't know any better, I'll tell you what's good. And I was like, this fucking rules. And maybe you've had some like Yelp reviews from people who were looking for like traditional Peruvian steak places that were like mad at you. We are not that. Just let me know if it's good. Like, I would like a good steak that is not spicy. I went to a Brazilian steakhouse that was so good. Hell yeah. It was, just so y'all know, that Peruvian steak place, I don't know if they do a good job or a bad job as being traditional or non-traditional. I cannot claim to know that. But I can tell you that when it comes to making steaks that Pat Baer likes to eat, they do a real good job. They do not do a takeout business as far as I know. It would be expensive, and I'm not about that, but yeah. Whew. Crazy Like Fox says there's a Hawaiian place near me that looks like it would never pass a health check. Great food, though. Yeah, that happens. Um, that is what my landlord said when I told him that the Chinese place near us was reopening after they had closed immediately, and then they reopened. And he said, well, at least they had time to clean the place, and it is cleaner in there than it used to be. So he was not wrong with his somewhat snide remark. He was not super off base. C10 or C10. There it is. First curry I had was from an Irish pub in Canada, served on steak fries. That is a Bald Ridge. That is, I mean, I'm not telling you that's not curry, but curry on, and also I'm telling you that curry on steak fries sounds like something I could go for. That sounds almost like a weird version of like poutine, almost like a curry poutine, and that sounds fucking great. I love restaurants where the staff strap you in like you're on a roller coaster. Oh yeah, Mr. Bob, I love that when they're just like, because sometimes they're like, we do things a little differently here, and you're like, oh, are you an Asian fusion restaurant? You don't do that much different here. You just stole a bunch of different recipes. Uh, you just ran out of stuff to make protein. uh, it was amazing. The first soaked up all the fries. Yeah, I'm sure they did. Yeah, it does sound incredible. I do want that for me and all of us, but me too. All right, so I need 11. 15 and 12. All right, so here's 15. I think that's 12. Let me see here. Sorry, y'all. 11, 9, 25, 12. Okay, 12. Great. I went to a Mediterranean place in Omaha, Nebraska, run entirely by one dude that had no menu. You just got whatever he decided to make for you. It sounds like the worst idea, but it's best. That does not sound like the worst idea. I have been to places like that before where it's like, I went to I once had curry at Irish pub once. There might have been fries. Yeah. Um, I mean, that's a lot of obviously the influence of Indian folks. Probably it was probably an Indian curry. Uh, um, you know, immigrating to the UK. Like that is my assumption, under with no facts to back it up. Merely my assertion. Um, but no, we used to go to a seafood place in Branford, Connecticut, down by the water. Branford is on the water. It's near the ford. Um, but yeah, in Branford, it's on the water, so there are a lot of seafood places. And there was one seafood place that did not have a menu uh, written down. He had a chalkboard of what he had caught that day, what had been traded with him, and there were times of day where it would get crowded because certain people that in from the neighborhood would come in to sell stuff to him. So if you got to kind of get the vibe of like when your favorite fishermen or fisher women or non-binary folks, if you had a favorite, you could learn when they would come in to sell their stuff, and you could get what you wanted from them, and have a guy cook it up in front of you, and it was pretty great. Um, I do wonder. So I don't know if I've talked about. I don't think I have. The fact that there was a choice I made in my life, and if I had made another choice, I would not be doing this. I do not think that I would be doing this streaming thing if I had made this other choice in my life. And I would not know y'all if I had made this other choice. So basically, uh, how it comes down to is I had the choice of moving to New York to studying acting, which led me to the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater, which led me to my friend Porter Mason telling me to listen to the Giant Bombcast. And consequently, when Eric Pope came to see a show at UCB and I was the manager, I introduced myself, which meant when I saw him at PAX, we had been chatting on Twitter, and him and other people, and it opened the door for me and the Giant Bomb folks, who I met there, to do some cool stuff together, which led to everything, which leads to this, right? So that's one life, right? Well, when I finished my year at college and decided I was going to uh, I was going to move to New York, an offer came in that I almost took. It was to take over and run a playhouse in Stony Brook, Connecticut, uh, and I did not do that. It was a tiny little theater. It had started as puppet theater and did kids programming, but it had a lot of other activities going in it, including some improv that somebody's brother, who I was on a short form improv group, which I talked about on Thursday, knew me from that and said like, "Hey, I know you know theater stuff, and like you volunteered to help us out on this thing. Would you be interested in like taking over? Because like we have a couple people that have some money that want to invest in it, but like they don't know what to do and they're not comfortable running it. You could live in the house behind the theater if you wanted to." And I almost did that. And I would have lived by the water, and I would have run. Bald Ridge just cheered 400. That's crazy story. Life's twists and turns. Thank you so much. Let's hit the emotes, and thank you very much, Bald Ridge, for that 400 biddies. Always appreciated. Thank you so much for that. Um, uh, yeah, I got that offer, and I had to seriously consider it because it was kind of my dream to like run a theater. I didn't feel. I felt from a technical perspective, right? A technical era. I could do it. I could have upgraded some of the equipment. I could have run things on the technical side, no problem. But what I didn't have was connections to the locals. Like I knew some of the locals, but I didn't know enough of the locals where I felt like it was going to work. Like I would have needed to have more people in my corner, and I would have had to hire some local people and hope that I hired the right people and all this other stuff. And I also was like 20. Yeah, I was almost 21 at the time. And I'll tell you this, 20-year-old Pat Baer knew he couldn't run a business. 20-year-old Pat Baer definitely knew that was not going to be a good thing. Was if he started to run a business. That was just not going to be the right call to make. All right, I'm going to Oh no, so this goes like this. Okay. So yeah, so I did not do that. Um, Instead, yeah, my life took its other twists and turns, which led me all here. But yeah, so in years ago, in the great one-up apocalypse, when there was a lot of layoffs at oneup.com, suddenly I did not have podcasts to listen to. And a few of those podcasts, like a few of those people had started up their own podcasts, and I went and listened to them. Um, but I didn't have a lot of podcasts to check out. So I eventually, like my friend Porter was like, "Oh, have you listened to Giant Bomb?" And I didn't know them because I was never a GameSpot. Say I fucked up. Don't tell them. I was never a GameSpot person. Uh, so I didn't know those dudes. I didn't know anything about them. I knew the name Jeff Gersman, but I didn't know who they were as people. Um, so I got to listening and liked what I heard and all that other stuff, and that led me to do things. And then being in a position where I was friends with, I grew up with Chris Kohler and was friends with Pope from Twitter and and whatever, and a PAX that I had been to, a couple PAXs at least, and then I knew Ryan from around and from me being not a bad person, and I would chat with them when Jeff and Ryan were driving in, uh, and it was it was a thing where yeah, when it's time for me to do 404ing it, which is coming up on an anniversary. It debuted in the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater in June. I have to look up the actual date to figure out how old it is. But yeah, uh, I reached out to Ryan to do the panel, and he said yes. And that's one of the reasons why I got the panel, because I put on very good people that they wanted to see do a panel. It's the terrible secret of doing panels at conventions. If you book people that they want to go to that convention, then they will be like, oh, you got this person? Cool. Yeah, I did. I got that person. You actually have to have them, though. Hello, Dirty. Welcome, welcome. You can't just say that they're coming. They have to actually come. But yeah. That is my unfortunate advice. Yes, Lord Crashington. That is one of the things that that Chris brought. The chewy chocolate dietary candy that was unfortunately called AIDS, AIDS. It's a dietary supplement with a bad name. It is a real product that exists, if you're curious. But yeah, that was a very fun panel, and kind of started me doing panels at PAX and various other shenanigans. Yeah, Lord Crashing. That's one of those videos that people just like to. That's one of those things that people just kind of discover, and they're like, "How did I not know about this?" And you're like, "Yeah, I know, right? The world is weird, huh?" So we live in a strange, strange place full of weird things that happened. Uh, Yeah, but that's one of the ones where you're like, oh yeah, yeah, you're learning about that now. Let's see. One of my favorite all-time PAX panels. It was great because it was the first one, right? It was. I think that. Well, I appreciate that, Harold. I love 404 for the stuff out of left field. Yeah. Uh, yes, Dirty. We are now, I guess, talking a little bit about 404 in it. Uh, it just kind of came up. Um, so here's a fun thing. I didn't know about uh, the 404 show. I never, when I came up with the name 404 at Breaking Down the Internet, I didn't Google it to see if it was a thing that other people were doing. It did not occur to me to check because it was just going to be a stage show that I did at UCB a couple times. I didn't expect it to be a thing that I would do at conventions for a long period of time. So I heard about it and I was like, oh no, shit, that's a thing. I hope whoever this is doesn't get mad at me. And then years later, I'm got to. I've never. Here's the other weird thing. I still haven't met Jeff Bakalar in person. I've talked with Jeff Bakalar on social media stuff, and then we were on a podcast together. But the podcast we were on together was recorded from home. We've never actually been in the same room together, which is very weird, but true. Uh, so we've never actually talked about that because I'm sure that must have been weird for him. Grocery store. Yes, the grocery haul videos. Yeah. So the thing is that like I got better at trying to mix in weird stuff that you won't see anywhere else with stuff that is actually a bummer and we're laughing at it because even though it's fun, it's still a bummer. And I never sometimes I didn't get that balance right, and some shows I got that balance perfectly. Like if you really stare at some of what I think is my last really good one, um, uh, oh yeah, marble racing, yeah, like if you look, I think my last one, really good one, is Erica and Alex and Charlie Chu. I think that's my last great one where it's like everything. Some things don't hit as like this is incredible. It hits as wait you. That's a thing that's on YouTube. You can just watch these things. Uh, yeah, and then sometimes there's things where I'm like, this didn't this didn't hit right. This is a weird thing. This is a bummer. All right, we're gonna move on from this. Uh, and sometimes it's because honestly, really, when it comes right down to it, any 404ing it where I felt even the slightest bit bad about that. Hey, Durman, welcome. Happy to have you here. Anytime I ever felt bad about one of the 404ing it was always because I didn't get videos in advance enough to be like, actually, can we do this instead? Hey, could we like maybe instead of this one, could we like focus on this element? Or, well, I like the theme of this, but like this one seems like if I didn't get a chance to be like to talk to the person about what they wanted to present, then sometimes we ended up with a thing that didn't feel quite right. And also, I got older and like had a less tolerance for this is weird and I don't like it, and a more tolerant and more looking for this is weird and incredible. Oh, I'm so happy. Like, and that's just how I ended up. It was 440 where I first found out that. Oh yeah, no, that is the John Benet Ramsey thing. Yeah, Heather O'Rourke. Yeah, it was Heather O'Rourke videos. Um, and I believe in response to that, on a giant bomb thing, Alex Navarro talked about Sean Benet Ramsey, which that would have been a different thing. No, these were just, hey, this one child actress, Heather O'Rourke, there are a lot of tribute videos to her on YouTube. That's just a thing. And then we played a game, and then to make that less sad, we played the game of appropriate song or inappropriate song, which is still a good bit. And I do let that show evolved, and I did far less games as time went on. Mostly because I was just like wanted to show more shit. Alex Navarro. Oh, so here's the thing. I'll say this: Alex Navarro is one of the most prepared people ever. Yeah. Alex is the first person to ever send me to rip videos himself. The first time he did it, when he did like some videos, and it was like wrestling and another thing. I can't remember the other thing. Uh, he ripped all of them himself and sent me like a OneDrive with all of it in there. No one has ever done that before or after. Now, I am better about telling people how to send me things, but he was just like, this is what I wanted to, like, Alex was waiting for me to ask him, I think. I don't He's never said that, but I think he was waiting. Like, sometimes people who are when it's like they need to present things, they're like, I'm asking them to do homework. And I understand I am asking you to do homework. And so sometimes people are like, I don't know, this is all I watch is this stuff. And I'm like, okay, like, what do you like? What do you want to do? And like, I like, it was for Gamer X, where Abby Russell, the first time Abby Russell did it, I was just like, kind of jokingly be like, I figured you're probably going to like want to show a bunch of videos about horses. And she was like, I can do that? And I was like, I mean, if you want, yes. I'm not going to tell you you can't do that. Like, I've been better about kind of letting people know. Or like, there was somebody, one of the last couple ones, who was like, I don't know what I wanted, like, really had trouble kind of coming up with what they wanted to talk about. And sometimes people are like, here are 20 ideas of things we could do. Let me know. Uh, um, and then I've also had people who were like, I don't know what I want to do, and I can't think of anything. I had MC Chris once, who had literally, he had just gotten off of a really long tour. Chris is one of my favorite people in the world. Chris has got stuff. I know he has stuff, but I'm not going to get into it because I love Chris to death. Chris Ward is one of my favorite people in the world. I'm not going to talk about it because his stuff is that he just cares too much and sometimes needs to stop. He needs to just fucking cool out, but he doesn't. I love Chris to death. He had just gotten off a tour. He'd gotten back the day before, and he was like, Pat, I have not looked at the internet. I do not know what to talk about. And I was like, well, do you want to like send me a bunch of photos of like your favorite stops on the tour, and you can tell like tour stories? And he went, is that what 440 it is? I'm like, I don't know. It can be. I kind of don't care. Like, I play around with it as much as we can. Like, it's a celebration of the good parts of the internet. And if the good parts of the internet are, here's a story about this place that I hung out at. I'm like, cool. Uh, yeah, dear man. I mean, that's the thing. Like, sometimes people are like, here's the thing I really want to talk about, and I'm like, no. I don't just go no, but I do go, okay, well, all right, well, hey, well, I know that you also like this thing. Like, if I know the person, I can say, hey, but like, do you want to talk about this thing you did? Do you want to talk about like these things that you like? And sometimes they'll be like, yeah, oh yeah, we can just do that. It's like, great. Um, Years and years ago, when I was still a stage show, just doing my thing, um, I had the pleasure of having a fantastic friend of mine come and do the show that had not, uh, but he had agreed to the show, and then he couldn't do it anymore because he had to do a stage reading for a play because he was going to be in New York, and then he had to do a stage reading, so he couldn't do the show. And then the day of the show, he was like, "Hey, uh, my stage reading got canceled, so if you'd like, I could come and be a guest, but I didn't prepare anything because he had canceled so soon that we never talked about what he could do." And I was like, just come and hang out, I guess, if you want, because like you're my friend and I want to hang out with you. So if you're like okay with just chilling out and watching other people videos, we can just do that. And we did that, and that was very fun. And that was so that was when I had Rich Summer from Mad Men just come and watch other people's videos. It was really fun. Uh, that was a very fun video. That was a very funny show because he was just like, yeah, he said like, yeah, I didn't bring anything. And then we're on stage, and he had said like, oh, my reading got canceled. Um, so I'm in New York and I can just come hang out. And I didn't ask why it got canceled because that's not my business. I don't need to know why that thing why that got canceled and what's going on. Like that's not my concern. I'll leave it at that. And so I don't say anything, and he doesn't offer it and whatever. And then on stage, we're hanging out and we're talking about stuff and doing our thing. And then someone goes, "Oh, hey, Rich. By the way, why did your reading get canceled?" And he goes, "Oh, well, the guy who wrote the play died like 2 days ago, so they didn't do the reading." And I was like, "What? You?" And all I could say was, what I ended up saying was, "You can just lie, Rich." I was like, "You can just lie. All you have to do is lie in that situation. You don't have to tell us why you're here. You could have and should have just lied to us." Ended up being okay, but it did freak me the fuck out for a second because I was like, "This is a comedy show at a comedy theater." I can always say sometimes when things aren't funny but they're fun at PAX, like I can be like, "Hey, whatever. You're at PAX. I don't know. I hope you like." There's nothing funny about this footage from the driver's perspective of train rides in rural Japan. There's nothing funny about it, but it's cool as shit. And maybe you just found your new relaxing YouTube thing. But when I did it at a comedy theater, I would always be like, "No, we need to talk about this. We need to talk about how I don't know if the videos are still up because this is years and years ago, okay? So I don't know if these videos still exist. But for a while there was an employee of calendars.com, which is a website where you can buy calendars. And there was an employee who was doing calendar reviews. And it was just in an office against a wall. And they didn't have high quality scans of the calendar to do insert shots. He would just hold up a calendar to the camera and talk about the calendar. And then it wasn't good, but it was great. And I don't know if any of those videos still exist or if there's any way to watch them, but it's still one of the best things that's ever existed on the internet. Um, and it was still one of my favorite things of all time, is that there were just these videos on calendars.com. And then eventually that guy left, and there was another person doing it, and it wasn't the same. But one of the guy's last videos, which makes me think that he understood that he was doing a very goofy thing, was someone, because you could make your own calendars and sell it on the site. And so he started doing a thing where he's like, "Hey, let me know what calendars you'd like me to review from our calendars.com." And someone, because he had done 11 videos, did a calendar of calendar.com's calendar reviews. And every page was a different photo. It was like June. This is him from the June video. And they did 11 of them. And the 12th one was just like, "Merry Christmas. Please review this." Well, it was just a plea to please review this video or this calendar. And the guy, like, I think understood that someone was making a goof at his expense, but also seemed like kind of psyched about it in a way that I was pretty into. Um, we are overdue for a pause for the cause, so we're going to take one of those. Because not only Do we have to? Uh, I have to tell you ways that you can support the channel if you'd like to, and what I do here. But also, it's the last stream of the month, last build stream of the month. So someone is going to win some Lego sets, and it's 4 Lego sets that I'm giving away. Somebody is going to win the Lego Manta Ray Bomber, the Golden Dragon, Rey's Speeder, which is a Star Wars kit, and the Samurai Mech. The Manta Ray Bomber and the Golden Dragon Samurai Mech are all Ninjago things, and then Rey's Speeder is Rey's Speeder. These are all like 100 to 200 piece kits. They're smaller kits, so I'm pairing them all together in one big Lego box. And I disassembled all the kits, so whoever wins this, a subscriber who has not previously won, is going to win a bunch of Lego. You got Lego. You got something to do. So, I'm going to do a drawing after I do my pause for the cause. First and foremost, if you're currently a subscriber, throw the Baer the Lego, the site, the emote in the chat. Thank you very much, everyone who was a subscriber. If you would, gifting subs is another way you can support the channel. Bits and coins, like we already had. Bald Ridge gave some bits. That was very nice. Thank you very much. If you can't subscribe, I understand. If you use Twitch Prime, you have to manually renew. So double check, make sure you're renewed. Use your coin because you linked your Amazon with your Twitch. Thank you so much. If you can't give, I get it. I fucking get it. But I do appreciate it. We'll talk very briefly about ways you can support the channel. We'll get back to building because we got to start working on the chest piece, I guess. It's the Zegok is... Yeah, we're working on the chest next, so we'll get to that. But I do have a Patreon. Look, here's the thing. If you want to join my Patreon, wait 2 days and join my Patreon on the 1st. Get your full month's worth. And on June 1st, if you want to join my Patreon, you can. There's different tiers. There's different things you can get. As I said, bits and coins here are appreciated. Gifting subs is appreciated. Subbing is appreciated. But also just being here is appreciated. Thank you so much if you just want to hang out. We'll get through these pretty quickly and get back to building in just a moment. Oh, Harold just cheered 68. That's pretty nice, Harold. Thank you very much, my friend. The old applause there. Thank you for that. That's great. Thank you so much, my friend. Appreciate the support. Getting back into it. Okay, so I got a Patreon. Donations. If you donate during the stream, I will buy kits with your donations. That's how that works. So yeah, here is the ways you can donate. If you're watching this on YouTube, there's the links in the show description. Have all these links to Coffee and Streamlabs and PayPal. If you want to be anonymous, Coffee and PayPal, I won't say who you are. If you want the people to know and have it be a pop-up, you can do through Streamlabs because that is integrated with my subs, my Streamlabs stuff. Bald Ridge just cheered. Here you drop this. The 1 cheer for Harold. So now, Harold, nice. Bald Ridge, nice. Thank you guys so much. Thank you both so much. Okay, so I'll get through these quickly. We'll get back to building. We'll get to talk about current anime that's come out pretty recently. But we got to talk about my Amazon wish list. Now, first and foremost, I'm going to say this. If you want to buy something from my Amazon wish list, please do that sooner rather than later. Because at a certain point, I'm going to have to switch from the address I have here to a new address because I'm moving. But I don't know where I'm moving yet. So at a certain point, I'm going to just like turn off the wish list. But right now it's good. Or make the wish list my parents' house, I guess. I don't know. I got to think about it. But that's a weird thing to say. But thanks to everybody who has bought things on my wish list, including somebody who pretty recently bought something that I can't wait to build. I got to find it on the list. Oh, yeah, it's the Turn A Gundam. Somebody bought the Turn A Gundam. I don't know when that's going to arrive, but I'm going to build the Turn A Gundam, and that's rad as heck. So yeah, that's my wish list. You don't have to buy anything on that, but if you want to, it would be cool, and I would appreciate it. Another thing to do is USA Gundam Store. You can buy gift cards at USA Gundam Store, and they send you an email with the code, because they want you to buy online, obviously. And then you could send me that code, a DM on Twitter or whisper here on Twitch. Go like, hey, here's some money to USA Gundam Store. And then I would buy something from USA Gundam Store. And that would be pretty neat. Um, I have now realized that I pre-ordered some kits, and I got to remember, yes, I have some Bandai kits coming that I have shipped to this address, which now they cannot ship to. So I will have to change that order. Yes, I will have to update my shipping stuff. Or maybe I didn't give them an address yet because they aren't going to ship for a couple months. Anyway, sorry, I got distracted. I just don't want to make sure. I want to make sure the lots of money I spent on premium Bandai kits actually I get. So that's a reminder that I have to change that up. I have a Discord. Join my Discord. We're going to get back to building in just a moment, folks. I just want to go through these pretty quickly. Please join my Discord. I post photos after every build stream. People post stuff they're working on constantly. It's nice. It's a nice thing for nice people. So get on board with that if you want to. You're under no obligation to do so, but it's cool. Let's see. What else do I want to say? Real quick. Baering the List. I've been going through Toonami. This is 99 to 2001, the end of 2001. Baering the List, I rank things. So I ranked all these shows. And check that out. Now, did I forget, somehow, fuck up and not include the Big O, which came out in 2001? Yes. Did I correct that in the following video that'll be out next Wednesday? Yes. Also, Pat Bear's Anime Club. I talk about some pet peeves of mine. Do I get into some actual systemic issues? Yes. Do I start pretty light with some things that annoy me? Like tsundere characters? Yeah, I get pretty light with it. But yeah, that's Pat Bear's Anime Club. It's pretty good. I figured out what my next video is going to be for Pat Bear's Anime Club, and I think it's going to be pretty good. The basic premise is it'll be like a thing I can come back to sometimes. I'm gonna answer the question, should you watch? And then I'm gonna talk about an anime that I think that is not. It's one of those things where like there's caveats to it. So it's a show that I think is awesome, but and I'll like talk about the pros and cons of it. And I'm gonna do that. That's gonna come out not this Monday, but the following Monday. Right? Yeah, because the 25th is... Oh, now I have to double check. Just real quick. That came out on the 25th. Yeah, all right. I thought I had my schedule right. I had to make sure that I wasn't supposed to put out a new Pat Bear's Anime Club on Monday, and that I had completely forgotten I was supposed to put one out in 2 days. That's not true. That's good, because I am not prepared to do that. All right, so let's talk about... Oh, so we're going to talk about anime, but first... I am going to choose a subscriber. So last chance, if you want to subscribe to be eligible, it'll be somebody who is a subscriber and who has not won previously. Folks that have been gifted subs count. Sorry, Twitch Prime folks count. Ig wants me to hit that gong, so I'm going to hit that gong using their channel points. Right? If you haven't seen this before. I got a decorative gong that my roommate left. There you go. Let's see. Yeah, so I got to plug in this. Sorry, folks. All right, so yeah, I'm going to hit the subscriber thing. I've got a random number generator. I will say that there are a few people that are like, thank you, Baldridge. There are a few people out there that are like, I don't want you to mail me things. And I'm like, okay. So I don't include those people. All right, so we click that. I always forget. I need to. Okay, so it's insights. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I got that in the dashboard. Okay, I hit that. And then it's nice to see the list of people and how long some people have been. Because there are a few folks out there, Iron Souls, I'm looking at you, that are like long-term subscribers, but they don't get a chance to see things live, or they're lurkers. And like, thank you. The folks that you know, that aren't always active in chat. Like I always say, you know, I like to give a shout out to Aristophan. Aristophan, sometimes you let me know you're here if you're here, but you're not a chatter. That's not your thing. And I always appreciate that anyway. And folks that watch on YouTube that can't watch it live, folks that watch the VODs, thank you everybody. Folks that just every time I'm streaming, they happen to be looking up in the Gunpla stuff, in the makers category and they don't follow me and they don't follow me on Twitter, but they're here, thanks so much. Do those other things maybe. All right. Verifying, searching. Not grind style. Congratulations, not grind style. I'm going to double check once more time here. Also, that you don't have to be in the chat to win. Because yeah, with the Lords of One solved. Do once a run. Silver Streak. Valfer. Not grind style has won. Congratulations, not grind style. I'm going to send you a whisper once the stream is done. And now, let's talk about anime as we build some of the chest up here. We're going to talk about 3 series, 2 of which have their regular episodes that came out today, and 1 that I've watched most of on Netflix that I marathoned. Wait. Oh. Okay, so I messed up here. I turned the page from the feet, and I was like, oh, cool, art. And then I turned the page again, but there was art, which is cool looking, great photos. And then there's like, all right, now here's your next step. B2. Great. So my next life is a Villainess. This wasn't my favorite episode of the show. There was some kind of important stuff, but it was mostly like a recap episode. It was mostly from the perspective of the maid of Katarina. So Katarina's maid, who's always around and kind of like puts up with her weirdness. It was like she is aware of who has feelings for Katarina and who is unaware of their own feelings, and she is aware that everything's happening and what's going to happen and all that. So she's very aware of all that. We learn her backstory, that she was, and then first time that anyone's ever really like stuck up for her and fought for her was Katarina, and it was nice. It was a nice little support. You see that Katarina's like the person that she is and she's become even has an effect on not just the romantic characters, the people that are romantically interested in her, also like the other people in her life are different. And there's a previous episode that even said like her parents get along better because of this version of her, because they talk more and they communicate more about other things, that she's changed them. This is interesting. But it's mostly a light episode. There's a sleepover. The girls have a sleepover, which is kind of fun. And we get the thing of the various characters. We learn about one of the best parts of the episode is learning about Mary's plot, where the two of them should elope together and run away together and not get engaged because neither really wants to be engaged. There's another thing with Sophia, just reiterates like the idea of what she would do with the person that she was interested in, and it's just the plot of a book. I'll say this. I was expecting at the end of the episode, because there was a little time left, that they were going to cut to a joke that was said in the episode, and I am mad that we did not get this payoff. There was a reference to, she suggested that all the dudes that want to date her or marry her, and the one dude who does but doesn't know it, and the other 3 that all know it, that they do a boys' slumber party, and it sounds like they might do it. And then I was like, oh, the end of the episode, we're gonna see that, right? We're gonna like cut to them like having guy talk and hanging out, and we don't see that shit. And I don't know if it didn't happen or if they just didn't like. But like, come on, that could be fun. Instead, the end of the episode is the harvest, and her weird outfit that she wears to do yard stuff. She has versions of it made for all of them, and they're all helping her with the harvest. And it's fine. It is. a fine part of the episode. And then also the after credits is uh, the girls who would be her underlings if she was the villainess of the story are now after her, and it's questionable. Like we only see that because she's like the evil things I've done. So I wonder if these are just if the evil thing she did was like being nice to Maria because they don't like her, and and this is different where she's nice about it, or if there's something else going on. I don't know, but uh, look, this is a unique, odd isekai. I really like it. I think they're going interesting places. I do recommend it if you're looking for a fun series. If you're tired of the old, the modern isekai, and you're looking for a little something a little different, because it is both a postmodern isekai and a throwback isekai, and I recommend it. My Next Life is Villainous. All routes lead to doom. It's on Crunchyroll, and it's good, and I liked it, so I'll recommend it. Um, Kaguya-sama Love is War, a three-parter. The first part, if you like Chika, if you like the comic relief of the show, there's a lot of good comic relief of her, and I think it was very funny and cute. The second one was a fun take on it. So the second part is uh, the whole premise is these two characters are interested in each other. They would date, the president and the vice president of the student council, but uh, she knows that she can't tell a guy she likes him. He's got to tell her, and he knows. Well, he's a poor kid that worked his way up into the position. He's doing this thing to get a scholarship, to get a letter of recommendation for university, so he can help take care of his family. But he knows that like if he says he's interested in her, he gives her all this power because she's like the daughter of a very wealthy, politically ambitious person. But they do want to date. So instead of just ignoring their feelings, they are trying to trick the other person. So it's a war. It's a tsundere war. So in the second part of this episode, there is a very cliche thing that happens, which is they get locked in the school equipment room. Well, it's so cliche that each of them assumes that the other person has set them up, that the other person planned this, and that they're trying to like trick them. But neither trick did that. It actually happened. So that was kind of fun, and they almost kiss until they are, of course, uh, found out, and they don't kiss. And then, because she's thinking about this almost kiss, and now they almost had this kiss, and she didn't know what to do, and she was kind of scared about it. Kaguya, who's already had some heart issues before, ends up at like a surgeon, like the Japan's best heart doctor because of her father's connections, and he's just like, "You're lovesick. Now you have heart palpitations and you feel weak because you are a teenager who is who is in love. No, yeah, this is your heart sick. Like I've seen this before. I get this. This is not anything weird." She's like, "No, no, no." And literally a nurse goes, "I think they call this tsundere." So they literally call out that she's being tsundere because she is. Her issues are her dealing with the fact that she felt out of control and almost shared a kiss with the guy that she likes. So overall, it was a good little episode. And we'll see where the show goes. I think the first part was fun because it wasn't really about that part of the relationship. It was a bunch of other elements happening, and the new girl in the student council, and how that might change the dynamic. But yeah, it was overall just like a solid, fun episode of the show. And now I'll tell you all about Dorohedoro. It came out earlier on Netflix in Japan, and it wasn't licensed by any studio here in the U.S. People were like, "Is Netflix?" Because sometimes, like Amazon Prime in Japan will have a show, but then it'll show up on Crunchyroll, and sometimes Netflix will have a show, and it'll show up on Amazon Prime in the US, or it'll show up on Funimation, and nobody fucking knows because they don't say, because Netflix doesn't say, oh, hey, yeah, we licensed that show, but we're going to wait for all of it to come out, and then we're going to put it out we're going to put it out subtitled and dubbed at the same time. They don't say that. They eventually did say that. And so now, if you want to watch the dub or the subtitled of Dorohedoro and you have access to US Netflix, you can do that. Now, I cannot tell you about the dub. I can tell you nothing about the dub because I have not seen any of the dub because that is not a thing that I'm interested in watching. I am not here to have your dubs versus subs debate. I have no opinion on that other than I prefer to watch subtitled works than dub works, and sometimes dub. I will say this here. Actually, sorry. Here is my thing on dubs versus subs. Simuldubs sometimes sound bad. Sometimes they are in a rush and they are putting too much pressure on people. Dubs not bad, but if you try to watch it with, they don't match at all. Yes, oftentimes, especially simuldubs, right? Uh, I had a sub for lunch today, says Harold. Ha winky face. Uh, Sometimes subs are rushed, like simuldubs. Even sometimes subtitles are rushed, but simuldubs are often rushed, and I think that it hurts it. And then oftentimes uh, there is a translation that goes to out to people, and then actors make their choices, and then the closed captioning is from the text that came through and does not reflect the choices that were made. If you have a Blu-ray release, if you're doing that, if you're doing a timed release, sometimes that does change, um, but often, it doesn't, and you end up with a product that's kind of mismatched and doesn't really fit right. All right, so this is like the cockpit here, so we got to push that through. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm not here to talk about the quality or non-quality of the dub. I'm here to only tell you that Dorohedoro is fucking weird as hell, and I like it a lot. I think I'm 7 episodes in right now. I'm not savoring it, but I'm also like not uh, staying up late to watch it. I had other things going on, uh, and it's fucking good, y'all. It's a good show. What a good show. It was worth the wait. Now, could I have not waited? Yes. I could have just watched it. I could have watched fan subs of it as it came out. I could have, yeah, sure. Could have found torrents of it or uploads on whatever sites and watched it in chunks on YouTube. Yeah, I could have done that. I didn't do that. And I'm glad I didn't because instead I got a show that like now I'm watching it. I'm finally watching it. And it's violent and weird and like dark and strange looking, and it's all computer, but like it's so stylized, like the computer generated the you know the that this its version of digital animation. Um, it's really stylized and really fucking works, man. I mean, so much spinach straight from a garden on it. Durman. Heck yeah. Spinach straight from your garden. That sounds rad. Also, kielbasa and potatoes with a pint of lager dirty. That sounds rad too. Oh, so many folks just making real rad good foods. Good on ya. All right, I gotta figure out why I'm doing this wrong. So go like this. Go like this. And this goes like this. And that's gonna slide through. Sorry, y'all. I'll get this. Don't you worry. Um, but yeah, uh, nice. So anyway, Dorohedoro. It's great, y'all. I'm gonna tell you, it's a great show. I highly recommend it. I think if you're looking for something on Netflix to check out, if you're looking for something violent and weird, but also a very cool show about friendship in from many aspects and partnership and solidarity and like there are people who don't know each other super well going to bat for one another because they hear each other's stories and want to help out, and then also people who are like, I have every reason to be mad at you, and this is and my good thing is not going to work out for your thing. uh it is fucking cool as hell. uh I am a big fan of Dorohedoro. So yeah, that's my Pat Baer recommendation. Uh, I had some rigatoni with sausage that I diced up. I got some Italian sausage and diced it up, and that was very, very good. And a salad. I had a little side salad. Bought more ranch dressing. I had almost run out of ranch, um, but I got the ranch I needed, so that worked out okay. And then yeah, got what I needed on that. Um, this is not about food at all, y'all. I just want to say out loud again. Um, I'm on another stream tomorrow, and I would like you to come check it out if you can. It starts at 3 p.m. Eastern time. That's noon Pacific, because that's where they're situated from. Um, I will be on Kathleen's Island Tours. It is an Animal Crossing themed stream. It's a bonus stream for Loading Ready Run from Kathleen from Loading Ready Run. And I think Cameron is her co host, kind of hangs out. I believe he'll be there. Also appearing, someone that we have rated on numerous times, Kate Stark. I did not know that Kate was going to be on the island tour. I'm very excited. One, because Kate rules, and I like working with her. And two, I'm excited for Loading Ready Run fans that like miss Kate, that know Kate from like Feed Dump and from Desert Bus, that like don't get a chance to that like I'm excited in general. Like as a fan of Loading Ready Run, I'm excited for people to like be able to have her be on a stream as well and see her island. Uh, and it's going to be really fun. And then they're doing a community aspect where they go to a community thing. So it is Loading Ready Runs on Twitch tomorrow, starting at uh, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And it's like a 3-hour stream. We take a break. All right, I finally got this on. This took a really long time to get on, so I hope that it does not fall off. But you can see the other end here is where the cockpit is. So hopefully that does not fall apart, and I will not have to do it again, because it did take a long time to get right. All right, great. And now this will go on here. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I do not play this Animal Crossing. Um, I did play New Leaf, um, and I played a bunch of them. I mean, I started on the GameCube, but I just don't play this one because I don't have a Switch. So I am just coming in as a fan of the concept. Also, I'm a huge fan of Animal Crossing streams because they are very relaxing. Because sometimes they are silly, but like they are often very lighthearted and uh, low stress. So that has been very helpful in these current times to have an outlet like that. And so I hope that my enthusiasm will be fun, and people will like hearing me say, "Oh," and "Oh, cool," and "Wait, what? You can do that? Oh, neat. Oh, shit." And I'm going to try not to swear as much. I'm going to try not to swear because I don't think that. Here's the thing. I need to post my AC streams on your Discord. Yeah, Harold, you should. When you're going to be doing Animal Crossing streams, please make sure to mention us or to mention it in the Discord. Um, One of the things I'm looking forward to is yeah, I know that I'm going to try to swear less than Jacob swore on the last one. Friend of the stream, Jacob Burgess. He swore a lot, and he was like, "Oh, should we not swear?" It made me laugh very much. Uh, so I'm going to try not to swear too much. But I don't know for sure I'm going to say this, but I will probably say something like, "Hey, if I start swearing, it's just because I'm excited about what's happening, not because I'm mad about it." Enthusiastic swearing. But it's going to be fun and really chill. And also during that stream, I believe I can say what I'm doing next Wednesday because I'm doing something cool next Wednesday that I have not been able to talk about. But I believe tomorrow, when it's time to promote things, if there's time to promote things, uh, I will say that. But I'll also probably just promote this. You already know what this. Blathers definitely swears all the time. Uh, and Isabella only does positive swearing. She doesn't swear at other people, but she does say uh, she has been fond. She's fond of saying the phrase, "Oh, that's my shit." She definitely likes saying that about things that are indeed her shit. Also, hi Aristophan, happy to have you here as always. Thanks for coming by. The old Bill with Baer. That's 7. It's gonna go like that, and this is 8. Uh, I'll say the a lot of this parts here, the legs were giving me a lot of trouble. There are a lot of like, wait, how does this go? What does this do? I am not feeling that so far. Knock on wall. With this chess piece, other than the cockpit piece there. Uh, I would too if people woke me up and handed me tarantulas. Yeah. Oh fuck. Ah shit. Flick swears. Flick casually swears around certain friends of his. It doesn't care. But that dude definitely swears. Alright. It's also nice because I haven't seen Kate's Island in a while. I mean, I've seen it, but I've seen Kate's Island, but I haven't seen inside Kate's house in a little bit outside of her like uh, music room. So that'll be good to know where things are. Scorpions. It's scorpion season. Yeah. She's like, ah, oh, shit, scorpion. Fuck yeah. You think Flick is totally straight edge? I mean, I could see that. But like maybe Flick, yeah. But yeah, Flick likes you to be able to have a good time and party, but Flick's not. But Flick has its own opinions on what's cool and what's happening, what's going on, what he's into. We will have to find a stream to raid tonight. We're gonna raid in a little bit, y'all. That is what we do here on Bill with Bear. Is we end every stream by raiding somebody and checking them out. And I hope that I know that like occasionally, because you never know. I know that pretty recently we raided somebody and they like, oh, we raided Adam Conover, which was fun. And Adam didn't notice that we had raided, which is okay. It's fine. I didn't need him to. But he did stop streaming almost immediately. Like we only had a stream going for like a couple minutes and he logged off. And that I felt bad about that because that was not me keeping the party going by finding someone else for us to go and raid. It was just like Ah, shit. All right, well, okay, next time. So I do apologize about that. I do try to find people that we can go hang out with, uh, and see what they're up to. And also, like most of the time, I'm trying to pick people that like stream late into the night or had just started their stream up. Um, like if we raid Dan Reichert, Dan goes. Once Dan starts, he goes for a while. So we're not gonna have to worry about that. Wait, what do I? This goes like this. This one is not going on right. There it is. I can see it. Okay, there we go. This one just took a little force, which I don't like doing in model kits. Pat, I've been living in a hotel since February, and I'll be here until September for work. And I want you to know that I appreciate your streams helping keep me sane. Wow. Well, I'm sorry, and I'm glad I'm able to help. I'm sorry that you've been in a hotel. Um, uh, I will say I am glad that your hotel is work related and not like forced to relocate for something else. Uh, it sounds worse than it could be. It's just how it goes. Yeah, I mean, like I'm glad that it's like, oh, for work I have to do this. Like that, is small consolation, I'm sure. But like that's better than like, yeah, our house caught on, or our house is full of smoke, so I had to move into a hotel, which is a thing that happened to me years and years ago when our house caught on fire, and the fire wasn't that bad, but the smoke was. So we had to move out, and we were in a hotel for a while, and then eventually we stayed with my uncle. Um, but I'm glad. I'm happy that I'm able to help. That obviously, like that wasn't necessarily the start thing, but a thing that kind of came out of doing this pretty early on that I really latched onto is having a nice stream. For originally, it was just like, oh, I don't really want to play video games on stream, but I want to like do streams. And then it was like, oh, I missed model kit building. Oh, it's so fun. And then it was like, oh, people seem to really like this. And I remember when Zorbs, Zorby, when Zorbs was like, hey, my kids came in while you were streaming and they wanted me to get Lego sets. And then he started like building Lego sets with his kids. And like this was a couple years, this was like 3 months into me streaming. And I was just like, what? I like helped encourage like a thing you can do with your family? Like what? And people like who watch together, I think were like Solf and Little Honey who like watch together, and that's like their activity. Um, there were a couple folks out there who kind of come and go. Uh, that I know were going through some rough stuff and kind of leaned on streaming when they needed to, and I'm proud to be part of that. And there are people that are just like, yeah, that look forward to the streams. That the reason why I keep my schedule as best to my schedule as humanly possible, even if I'm not, some day. Hey, look, some days I do not want to stream. And if it's really bad, I will do like there's been some Wednesdays where I'm just like, hey, I'm not going to stream that long. This past Wednesday, it was fun. I had a good time. I could have kept the stream going. I was just not fucking feeling it, and so we did short. But I want to keep doing these streams because I know folks like plan their schedules around it. Uh, Bald Ridge says, speaking of house fires, that's why I haven't been by streaming for a bit. Or haven't been by. Ours burned down. Just got back into it after taking care of way more important stuff. Bald Ridge, I'm so sorry to hear that. As somebody who, um, uh, my situation was very specific and everyone was okay. The garage that was attached to our house uh, caught on fire. There was a freak chemical reaction in there, and we had to gut the whole building because the whole house smelled like smoke. It was a two-story house that my parents grew up in, or I grew up in. Um, and I was home, and so it was a lot. I'm so sorry. If that's what you're dealing with. Um, uh, so yeah, you have my condolences and understanding. It's frightening, terrifying. No one was hurt. Oh, you lost a dog. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Yeah, no, Baldridge. The thing I was most happy was my folks were both at work um, when it happened, and our pets we had long since lost our pets, so that we didn't have that fear, which I was very grateful for. The number one thing I'll say is uh, that a neighbor flagged out because my dad at the time didn't have a cell phone. He still doesn't. So my neighbor flagged his car down to let him know, hey, this happened because we weren't able to reach him, so that he didn't just drive up his van to see part of his house on fire. Uh, but also because my mom, for all of my life up until they retired, my mom was an English teacher, um, and she taught honors in one year and also C level students in another, like a whatever, like level C and reading. So she had a wide variety of folks that stayed in town and that became volunteer fighters. And when we had our fire, every fucking firefighter in the region came because they all knew Mrs. Baer. So they all came, and like that fire went out as soon as possible. Uh, and I'll say this: the one thing I will say about them that I always appreciated was, uh, they came in to kind of knock things out, and before they started hosing the roof to let it go, a firefighter grabbed my laundry basket so that I would have something, because I grabbed my jacket and my bag and with my laptop and got out of there, and my firefighter grabbed my laundry basket and then my parents' laundry basket so they would have some clothes. Um, in that laundry basket was all of my iron-on, bought off eBay anime shirts that you had to like cold water wash, and I was lazy about washing them. So it had all of the shirts that were all of my like Gundam Wing iron-ons and my like Vash the Stampede iron-on shirt that like definitely somebody made off a thing they downloaded off the computer and then sold on eBay. Uh, Including a shirt that I bought at Hot Topic that years later Bobby Moynihan would wear on SNL because he borrowed it and never gave it back, and that he wore that shirt, that Rurouni Kenshin shirt, on SNL. So if that firefighter hadn't grabbed my laundry basket, I mean that Pepper would have been a different character. Mark Payne, I should say, not Pepper. It was a character eventually called Mark Payne. Glad no one's hurt. Sorry about it. Yeah, sorry about your dog. Yeah, Bald Ridge, obviously. I'm, talking about personal anecdotes, but um, I am so sorry to hear about your dog, and the fire, of course. That's just gutting. I'm so sorry to hear that, but I'm glad that the family is okay. Obviously. Well, uh, we are gonna I'm gonna transition into saying it's time to raid. We got some good work done. Um, Obviously our next stream is gonna be on Monday. I'm gonna be again 3 p.m. tomorrow on Loading Ready Run, twitch.tv/Loading Ready Run. I will be there, and you're welcome to come and hang out with me. Uh, Lord Crashington wants me to hit this gong, so we'll go out on a high note with a gong here. My autofocus. Thank you for coming back, autofocus. I'm going to hit it again. Oh, and then also, so with that, wow, not a lot of people streaming tonight on Saturday. Looks like people took the night off. So we're going to go to Nina. Nina's playing Final Fantasy X and X-2. Aristophan and Bald Ridge also want me to hit that gong. So yeah, we're gonna Nina Simone, the lovely Nina Simone, is on there with MC Sassblast. I don't know who that is, but we are gonna go raid the old hentai PhD Nina, who is a fantastic person, and you should check out what they're up to. But yeah, we're gonna give them a raid. Uh, Thank you everybody for hitting uh the gong. Thanks for watching the stream. I hope you have an okay night. Um, oh, Baldridge watching them earlier. Great. We're gonna go give them the raid. You can come along if you want. If you don't want, you don't come. Um, but I hope you have a great rest of your night. Again, Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern. We're gonna keep working on this. We're gonna keep working on the chest and the head part of it. But yeah, thanks so much for joining, and I'll see you in the next build with Baer. Bye bye, everybody.